Hello everyone, welcome to the next session on SAP UI5. In the last episode of SAP UI5, we talked about how to set up Eclipse or your Web IDE development environment in your local computer and how to create your first HTML program. In today's class, we will go ahead and discuss about first of all, how do you import the project which I'm delivering it to you via our training blog. So how can you transfer project to one another? So by any chance, if you're also facing any issue going forward in future and you want to give project to me, you can do that quite easily by exporting the project from SAP Web IDE and importing it back to SAP Web IDE. So let's have a quick look at export and import of a project which you create into SAP Web IDE. Okay, so let's have a look at that. So I have started my web IDE. One more mistake which I have found that I did yesterday was the URL for the web IDE, launching web IDE. I think I've given the wrong URL to you because Meenakshi called me and she said that the URL which you have given is incorrect. So let me just quickly check what's the URL. It's correct only, Meenakshi. So yesterday you called me, you said that it is SAP web IDE, but it's not SAP web IDE, it's localhost 8080 web IDE index HTML. So that's correct only. So just wanted to cross check that. Okay, then that's fine. Let's proceed. So now we'll look at how to export and import a project. Why do you need export and import of a project? What is the need for that? The need for that is very simple. If you want to share the project with me, then you can quite easily do that using export and import. So you see, we had created yesterday my web app folder. That's my first project. So you can right click on this and click on export. The moment you do this, the project gets exported out of WebID as a zip file. So you can see it is exported, it is a zip file. Now I'm going to upload this zip file from today onwards onto our training blog. So you all going to use this web app.zip or any other project file which we will create going forward, and you can import that to your web IDE quite easily. So let me just delete this. So there are a lot of new enhancements and new things which I'm going to cover in this course as compared to my last batch. So every batch by batch I am evolving. So what has happened is, initially when I started UI5 training, I used to teach JavaScript views. Later on, I switched to XML views. Then I used to use Eclipse Web IDE, Eclipse IDE for development. But there is a strong pull in the industry to teach the Web IDE version for development. Then I switched to Web IDE. And in the last batch, I had also shown, some advanced things in OData. But then with that also, I experienced a lot. Student came to me with asking Git repository integration and a lot of other things. So those things I have included in my current batch. So batch by batch, you see, I am evolving my training. If you have already attended my previous batch, then you would see something extra in the current batch, because every batch by batch I'm evolving. So it's my recommendation to stick to the live batch. Those who are thinking that you want to go with a video base, of course you can go with video base, there won't be much difference. But I am evolving, I am adding new content to every new batch which I'm offering to all of you, and that way you can get latest updates. So earlier when I started, it was the era of UI5 and Fury 1.0. Then slowly as and when I progress teaching, you see new Fury enhancements came into picture, new Fury technology things, new themes have come in, Fury 2.0 have come in. So all these things I have incorporated already in my training. So every new batch which I start, I always try to do something new. So that's why I recommend you to stick to live batch rather than video based training, if you can afford, if you have that much of patience and time. Yes, but if you already have something hurry in your company, you want to get started right away, you don't have time to listen and patience to listen actually for so long for live classes, then better you go with video based course. You won't see much difference, but at least you will see something delta, something better in every upcoming batch, live batch. Yeah. Okay, so then comes is the web app.zip file, and you see I have downloaded and I've deleted from my web IDE now. So how can I now bring this into my web IDE? I can right click on workspace, and that's what I will be sharing with you from now onwards, from today onwards. Web app.zip or any other project file, you got to go to right click, import from file system, and choose the file from the computer. So I downloaded it in my downloads folder. I just switch to this and you see web app over here. Click on open, and now you see web app over here, and I say extract archive. Click on OK, and voila, you see the web app project got created with all the files inside it automatically. So that's the beauty of using export import feature of SAP Web IDE. Hope you will like it. Hope you will use it from today onwards, because by far in our training blog I only posted HTML file. From today onwards I'm going to post the whole project. So you can download the project zip, upload it in Web IDE. Another interesting point which I want to note down, that in our training blog I have two folders. One folder with my old batch projects which has been created. So don't look at this old batch projects thing, because it may be helpful if I give you more and more. So in this batch I'm giving old batch projects, plus whatever we create in the current batch also will be posted here. So you see I had posted our HTML file by far over here. You can download. From today onwards you will see I will be posting the zip file of the project exported from Web IDE. So that's what you got to download and upload in your Web IDE. Let's move on then. So what we see more today, we'll see some new tags today in HTML. So let's execute this HTML first of all, and I can also copy the URL and probably run it in another session. So here we go. So now what I'll do is I'll just show you an interesting technique. I use window left arrow and window right arrow, and then I just squeeze this up little bit. So now what you see is on the left side I am coding, and on the right side I am seeing the output. So that's called hand-to-hand way of development. So on the left I am going to write the code, on the right I'm going to see the output directly. That's also an interesting way of learning. It makes your life easy rather than you switching between multiple windows. Okay, so let's do this. So we'll see the next interesting tag. So I just do control shift slash to comment out this piece of code. That's a shortcut to comment out a piece of code into Web IDE. What is the shortcut? Control shift and slash to comment out code in Web IDE. Okay, now if you want to uncomment, you can again select the piece of code. I'm not sure if it works. Control shift backslash. Now you try. It's not working. So control shift backslash is ideally should work, but it's not working. I can right click and I can do, okay, I don't have an option now here itself to uncomment the piece of code. So control shift slash, and then you can of course remove the piece of comment directly like this. Okay, that's what you can do. I just right now comment this out. Done. Save it, and now you will see my output. You will not see anything on the UI. Let's look at our next interesting tag. The next interesting tag is like your anchor tag. What is an anchor tag? Anchor tag is nothing but a link. Okay, so many times on websites, when you develop websites or see websites, you will see the different links people will post. So anchor tag is actually a link tag which allows you to provide a link, and when user clicks on this link, so let's say click here, I have a link and I say click here for my channel. Save this, refresh, and I see a click here for my channel has been created, but I can't really click on it and go anywhere. Why? What do you think is the reason? Why am I not able to go anywhere when I click on this channel? Because I've not given the path. Where should it take me, right? Where will it take me? Facebook, YouTube, Gmail? Where will it take me? I don't know, right? So that is not given yet. So that can be given using SRC property, source property. SRC property. SRC property specifies what is the path where this link click should take you. Okay, now you will say, Anubhav, how do you know that there is a SRC property? It's very simple. Go to w3cschools.com. You will find all the properties regarding an element. But again I repeat, whatever I am covering, if you just look at and practice those elements, it is more than sufficient for you. You don't need to go deep dive inside HTML to build a website, because our intention is to not build website. Our intention is to understand all the major HTML tags over here, which anyways I will be covering in this course. So then comes is HTTP / and I'll say this should take me to my YouTube channel. So maybe I just search for my YouTube channel. Yeah, so just Google this YouTube channel, and there you go. You can see my YouTube channel coming on the top. I just click on this and it takes me to my YouTube channel. I'll copy this link and then I just paste the link in src property. That's it, guys. That's it. Now it will just, when I click on this, it is going to directly take me to my YouTube channel. So I refresh the page on the right, and oops, why it's not taking? There is some problem. There is some problem. So anchor tag I've created. I think the property name is href property, not src property. Let me try href, refresh. Yes, you can see it is href property, not src property. Href property means HTTP reference. On internet, what is the reference it should take you to? I click here and yes, it's moving on the top, and there you go. You can see it takes you to my YouTube channel. Okay, please subscribe to my YouTube channel for latest and greatest videos on UI5 and ABAP on HANA. Soon I will also post some videos about HANA Access on the channel. So if you're subscribed to it, you will automatically get feed for what's going on the channel. Latest videos you will get it. A lot of interesting stuff is about to come on my channel. Okay, so that's anchor tag. Now what's the next tag? Let's look at the next tag, img tag. Img stands for image. Okay, if you want to create an image, you can use img tag. You can use again src property. This time here we use src property, source of the image, where exactly this image is. Now one more interesting thing you notice is, okay, let me just move these two down up so that we can just check them out. Okay, one more interesting thing you notice is the anchor tag which I've given. This anchor tag has an ending. It has an end of anchor tag. But image tag is a tag which you can also keep it without an end tag. It's not necessary to put an end of image tag. And in fact, when I'm putting it, WebID is giving me an error. Unexpected end tag ignored. It's ignored because HTML5 says image tag and input tag, you don't need to put an end tag anymore. That's one more difference between HTML5 and HTML. So let's come back to our PPT where we were writing, and you see we are already noted down. We can skip putting the end tag for some of the elements like input and image, right? So when we put an end tag for image, it was giving me an error that it will be ignored. Okay, so now here you have to put the source of the image. So let's go to YouTube and let's get the logo for SAP UI5. So SAP have recently launched a new logo for SAP UI5. This was the old logo of UI5, and this is the new logo of SAP UI5, which recently SAP launched in November 2017. Now you must also wonder why this logo is like a bird. So there is a bird called Phoenix bird. Okay, initially when SAP was developing the UI5 technology, it was named as Phoenix UI. The technology name was Phoenix UI, and it's on the name of a bird. That's why you see this bird symbol, this bird picture over here in the UI5 logo. So later point of time, due to compliance, they have changed the name of this Phoenix UI to SAP UI5. That's the little bit of history of UI5. That's why you see bird logo. And now you see they have released a new logo, which you will also see my channel logo as well as my Gmail logo, because I owe a lot from UI5. UI5 have given me a lot. So that's the reason I have changed my channel logo as well as my Gmail logo to UI5. So you see, this is the UI5 logo. Right click here, copy the image address. You see here, copy image address. I close this, and now I paste that image address over here in src property. So I paste it, save it. We're done. And now let's see what happens. So don't go about this big thing. You just come here, refresh, and you see the UI5 logo is printed on the screen. Yeah, Very nice. UI5 logo is printed on the screen. This will also work for all of you because I've taken this image from internet. Okay. Now what about if I want to reference a local computer image? How can I do that? It's also very simple. Let me go to my computer and I will go to D drive, SAP UI5 folder, and a folder called images. Okay, I'll go to that images folder and I have lots of images in my local computer. You can see it here. I will take this folder path, and then instead of putting this whole thing, I will just put the image. And in order to put the image, before I put the image, I will quickly open this folder in the browser. And you see browser is showing now me all the images which are there in this folder. Let me copy this path of the image. Okay, I'll copy this. I come here in src, paste it, and then I put an image name. So I put kid.jpg. That's it. Okay, I had put an image now from my local computer. Okay, let's come back, refresh, and you will see an image should be displayed. It's not displaying. There is some problem. Ideally it should have displayed it. So this is the image which I have it, kid.jpg. Ideally it should have displayed the image, but there's some problem. I'm not sure why it's not displaying. Let me copy another image. Maybe I just use this kid.jpg only. So I copy this whole path of this image and place it here in src property. Ideally it should display it. Save it. Okay, let me do one thing. Before putting this image, I just put URL function, and inside this I'll put the image path. Let's come back, refresh. It's not working. So there's some problem in my rendering. It's not working. Ideally it should have worked. So whenever I put a file, its path, the image should come. But the problem is this particular image will not be there in your computer. So when I give this project HTML file to you and you try to run, you will not be able to see this image in your browser because this particular image which is there in my D drive SAP UI5 folder, it's not there in your computer. Okay, it's not there in your computer. I think it's SAP UI5. Okay, it's not there in your computer. So what will happen? It will not work for you. It will just give you like this symbol to you. So what do? We should copy the image to our local folder and reference from there. We should copy the image to our project folder. So let me do that. So I go back to the system and I will copy an image from my local computer and come to our web IDE once again. So I'll just expand it one more time, and then I will just come down, right click on the web app folder, and I can't do a control V here. I can do it in Eclipse, but I can't do it here. So I have to right click, import, import from file system, and I now gonna search for the file on my computer. So I put the file path. Okay, oops, it is opening here. I have to put the file path with the images folder, and now I choose kid.jpg. Click on open and click on OK. You can see it's importing the image and it is not showing me any data. It's saying it's a binary data. That's okay. And now I just come here and change the path, and I just say kit.jpg. Let's come back to the browser and refresh the page. You can see whole image is now getting displayed to me. The whole image is getting displayed to me on my browser, but the size of this image is pretty big. What shall we do? We should reduce the size of the image. How can we do that? There must be some property at the element level which helps me to reduce the price of this size of this image. So I say width property, and I'll say I want 300 pixels of width for this image, as well as height property. I want to do 300 pixels of height for this. So guys, those whatsoever properties I'm covering here, these properties are sufficient for you to practice and learn. If you want a deep dive, you can go to W3C, but believe me, whatever I'm covering, if you just follow that, nobody can beat you. You don't have to go anywhere outside. Any other knowledge, any outside knowledge from your self learning not required. put your energy more into the right things, which I will give you in later point of time, not here. Here, whatever I am covering, if you just practice that much, it's more than sufficient. Okay, because we are not going to build here a website. We are going to learn HTML5, CSS, JavaScript, and jQuery in detail, which will be helpful for us in future. So you can see now the image is getting displayed in a shorter size, because we have reduced the width and height of the image. Now, can we create a clickable image? Is it possible to create a clickable image? Anyone? What do you think? Will it be possible? What is that we use to?
Yes.
Okay, how possible? What can we do?
Put it inside the anchor link.
Perfect. So you can see there is an anchor which is actually used to navigate me to somewhere, and I have an image which is actually displayed here. So if I put this image inside the anchor, this becomes a clickable image. So let me put an anchor, a new anchor, and put an href property, and I just say this should take me to HTTP, which means it should take me to internet, www.onlinefurytraining.com. That's where it should take me. Enter, and that, you see, it's my anchor. Now I'm going to just cut and paste this image inside the anchor, save it, and now you will see, refresh, you see a hotspot comes up when I hover on the image. See, can you see the hand symbol? That when I take on image, it shows me hotspot, as if it shows me on link, right? So I click on the image, and there you go, it takes me to the website. That's the beauty of using our anchor tag surrounded with an image. So that's how on Facebook, Gmail, Twitter they do it. So you will see a nice God's picture, Sai Baba picture, or a Ganpati picture, where they say click on this Ganpati picture, something good will happen to your life. Click on this, share this picture with 10 people, something good will happen. Believe me, nothing good will happen. A good will happen for them, those who are allowing you to or giving you such kind of hoax to click on those pictures. Because the moment you click on the pictures or share it, there is a backend URL, there is a hidden URL surrounded by an anchor tag, which actually taking you to some Amazon shopping website, or some special shopping website, or some special offer website. So those people get more and more social signals. So when you click on such an image, people will get social signal on their websites. As a result of that, search engine recognize their website better, and their Google ranking improves. Yeah, sometimes you see, click here immediately, something good will happen. You click on it, it takes you to amazon.co.in, ebay.in. What these are marketing strategies, where the people will play with your emotions. They play with your emotions, and as a result they will do the marketing. So believe me, nothing will happen sharing a God's picture. If something you want to do good in your life, at least work hard. Because I have seen my luck never works. Whenever I do hard work, that's what works more, rather than my luck can anytime crash, but your hard work will never crash. It will always give you high return. Okay, so let's come down. Next tag, very interesting tag. So after looking at anchor and image, we look at list tag. So we have unordered list ul tag, unordered list, very nice. And inside this list we will put list items. List items are items of a list control. So what is a list? It's a single column table. List is a single column table where you will get multiple items, list items. So let's say I want to put Webdin Pro, I want to put link tag as oops abap, I want to put link tag as Fiori and UI5, I want to put link tag as Launchpad, and extensions, I want to put it as ABAP on HANA. Yeah, so you can see I had put multiple topics here. The moment I save and refresh on the right, you will see a list is created with unordered items, list items. You see multiple list items have been created. Now same, if I put list tag with an ordered list OL tag, I can put here li, ordered list, and I can say my first item should be probably SAP HANA, LI, SAP ABAP. Next LI is, let's say, uh, ABAP objects. Then I have reports. Save this. Let's refresh, and you will see an ordered list comes up with 1 2 3 4. That's an ordered list. This is an unordered list. Just the numbering is different. Here you get bullet points, here you get numbers. That's an ordered list. OL tag and UL tag. Now first exercise for all of you to try. Let me give the first exercise of our course. What you need to do. Exercise number 1. Design a list with 5 latest topics: ABAP on HANA, Launchpad, Fiori, UI5, and let's say BRF. Okay, these 5 topics you have to design a list. Now on click of the list element, it should take me to a YouTube video of on internet of the particular topic. Okay, so what you need to do, design a list with all these topics, and if I click on ABAP on HANA, it should take me to ABAP on HANA training video on YouTube. If I click on Launchpad, it should take me to Launchpad training video on YouTube. Okay, that's what you need to do. So on click, it should take me to a video. Okay, that's what you need to do. Exercise number 1. So that's what you need to do. Where will you get these videos? It's very simple. You can get all these videos on my website itself directly. So you can go to onlinefurytrainings.com. So even you can put your own videos, whatever you like on internet. You can search on YouTube, put random videos. But if you want all these videos to be found, you can found them over here on my website. You can go to website onlinefurytrainings.com, right click, copy video URL from here and paste it in anchor tag surrounded by list item. That's what you can do it. Okay, exercise number 1 for the course. Let's move on to the next part. So after the anchor OL UL tags, let's move in and let's look at the next set of tags. So this is about these tags. The next interesting tag is input tag. Input tag is, as you know, it's used for input fields. So let me refresh, and you will see now an input field has been created at the bottom. Let me just probably put it on the top. So I'll come here and I will put now an input tag. Refresh. You can see an input field has been created on the top, but now you see this input field and the link is coming in the same line. So you can put a line break. BR tag is a tag which you can put as line break, and it would create it in a new line. So anything put after the BR tag always starts in a new line. BR tag. Okay, now before we also get deep into the input tag, let me show you a paragraph tag. So I will create a P tag. It's called paragraph, and I can now write inside, let's say, what is HTML or what is UI5. UI5 is a framework which is used to develop responsive web applications. Okay, save this. Let's refresh, and I see that's what is getting printed. UI5 is a framework which is used to develop responsive web applications. That's what exactly it is. Paragraph tag. Now I want to highlight UI5. I want only this UI5 to be in the bold letters. I can do this quite easily. So I can use B tag. B stands for bold tag, and I can put the UI5 inside the B tag. Save this, refresh, and you see UI5 has turned into bold letters. Okay, now I want a special tilt to be given to the framework word Okay, framework and responsive word, I want a tilde to be given, so I can put it inside em tag, emphasize tag. If you want to emphasize on a word, you can put it inside an emphasize tag, em tag. Let me put responsive also under a em tag. So I will also put responsive, and watch carefully. Now you see framework and responsive both are tilted, both are highlighted, as it like looking at different font and different style. Yeah, that's called emphasize tag. So UI5 is a framework which allows to develop responsive web applications. So that's called paragraph tag, used to create long paragraphs in the system. Then comes is the input tag. So input tag, as you can see, brings you an input field. There is also something called label tag, which is used to get label. So I'll put a label tag and I say username, refresh, and you see username and label input field. Then comes is label again, and I say password, and then I'll paste here, put here again input tag. Never copy paste the code, guys. I am teaching you all these things. Write every single line of code yourself. You will become a master in UI5, believe me. If you copy paste the code, you will not become master. You will still remain as it is the way you are today. Make use of my training. It will take time, believe me, it will take time, but never copy paste the code. Okay, let's refresh, and you see now password is in a new line, and let's just enter Anubhav. Oops, my password is visible. So what shall we do? There must be some property which will make your password invisible. So let's try type equals to control space. It doesn't work here. And we can type here password, save this, refresh, and now you see, whatever password I'm typing, it's not visible to the user. Right, that's how password fields are designed. So they put type equal to password. Now lot of new type properties for input field have been introduced from HTML5 onwards. So that's another difference with respect to input fields. Many type properties have been introduced with HTML5. What are all those properties? Let's explore them. So if I come back here, so you can see one property is password property. Let me show you some more properties. So I put here input, and I show you type equals to number. Okay, that's another nice thing. Refresh, and you see there's a box where I can type in number, and you see I am trying to type characters. You can hear the sound of my keyboard. I am trying to type characters. It is not accepting. It only accepts numbers. You see, it accepts numbers, and you also get this tiny arrows to increase and decrease the value of the numbers. That's automatic. This is the power of HTML5. These are all the new things which are there in HTML5, earlier not there in older versions of HTML. Okay, now you can also you can make the maximum and minimum allowed value for number. So I say maximum is 20, and let's say minimum is equals to 15. Save this, refresh the page. You see now the size is also reduced, and if you just click on upper arrow, you see it starts with 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and after that nothing is going above. If you reduce 15, 15 below that, it's nothing happening. So you see 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, nothing happens. 15 ke baad nothing happens. So that's the beauty of HTML5. It also restricts you to put the values which are uh, outside the range which you have specified. Now there's also another interesting thing. You will say, Anubhav, what if I put here 200? Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. But when you're trying to navigate to a different screen, okay, when you're trying to navigate out of this web page, system will give you a validation error automatically. You want to see that? In order to learn that, first we have to learn how to navigate out of this particular screen. So I will introduce here the form element. So you saw earlier in our previous unit where we're talking about request. an HTTP request. Now let me quickly tell you what are all the different types of requests which we have in HTML. So you might have heard about already them in your if you are an ABAPA working already in OData, you might have heard about them. So there are different types of request, okay, and use. So there is a request called get. Get stands for reading the data. So if you are saying I want to read the data from server, you put a get request. Okay, get request means it's for the purpose of reading the data. Request will go with get type and it will just give you some response in the data. Then comes this post request. Post request is to create data in server. So it will tell the server that I want to create new record into you. So that's why post request is sent. Then we have put request. Put is actually update data in server. Then comes is delete request, to delete data from server. And then finally we have the merge request. Merge is read and update. Okay, very less people know about merge. Usually whenever we talking about an HTTP request response, we always talk about read, post, put and delete. Now if you see create, read, update and delete, if I take one character from all of them, create, read, update, delete, it becomes crude. Okay, it becomes crude. So what is crude? Whenever you see in your project people talking about crude, they will say crude or curd, CURD. If they talk about curd, some people call it curd, some people call it crude. So whenever they are calling curd method or crude methods, it means create, read, update and delete. They will say I want to implement crude methods. Okay, I want to implement curd methods, create, update, read, delete. So they are actually talking about create, read, update, delete. They want to implement on server functionality for creating, reading, updating and deleting the data, which will be handled by these get, put, post, delete and merge requests. Is that clear to everyone? What are all the different types of HTTP request? So now we will see how can we send a request from our web page. So there are multiple ways to send a request. You can send a request using ajax call. You can send a request using something called form element also. So we will see how can we send a request to a server with some data. So what happens when you go to facebook.com, you enter username and password and click on login button, right? What is happening at that point of time? Facebook is taking the username password which you enter in HTML page and it is sending in the request those username password. In the request it is sending, it reaches to server. The server now checks in the database table if this username password what you have provided is correct or not. If it is correct, Facebook will take the web, prepare a web content with your profile details and it sends you back this response. And then it's actually an HTML page what Facebook sends you. And as you all know, browser only understand HTML and this HTML gets displayed to you. You can also check that HTML quite easily. So if I go to google.com, I can also see when I'm searching google.com, Google is sending me an HTML page. You want to see this HTML page code, right click on view page source and you will see the whole Google's page source over here. This is the HTML page what Google has sent you as a response. I can take control A, control C, okay, control A, control C, and I can go to my web IDE and now I'll create a new HTML page. Right click, new file, my google.html, and I paste the whole thing over here. Save it and let me run this my google.html. Oops, I'm running a different file, I guess. Okay, it's always running this one, no problem. We'll change the file name. So I come here and I put the existing file, and instead of my first HTML, I will put my google.html. Press enter and you can see exactly a Google like page is being displayed for you. Of course, the Google's image is not coming, but a Google like page is displayed to you. Now you want to change this Google search to Anubhav search. We can do that quite easily. So what we need to do, we need to go to our HTML page and see where is this Google search element in HTML. So let me just quickly do that. So I come here and I search for in this Google search. Here it is. You see this element, Google search. Is this the name of this property? And I say Anubhav search. Okay. What's going on with web ID? Something crazy happening. Okay. Oops. Sorry guys. Something wrong happening with web IDE. I just put Anubhav H. Save it. Refresh. Oops. It's not changing. There is some more places where we have this. Let me just make it maximize. I say Google search. Find me. So one place here we have it. In fact, I'll replace wherever it is. So I just press 2 times Google search and I'll just replace it with Anubhav. Replace all and that's it. Save it and then come back. Refresh the page and you can see guys, the label of Google search is changed to Anubhav. Yeah, so it's all HTML guys. Browser only and only understand HTML. Browser don't understand Java, it don't understand ABAP, it don't understand any other language. It only understand HTML, CSS, JavaScript and jQuery. So ultimately the server will send you as a response as HTML. So that's what happens behind the scenes when you actually call any website. The server authenticates you with your username password, and as a result it sends you a response, and that response is an HTML file. So how can you send a request now? So for that, let's look at a form element. So you have a create form element, and inside this form element, let me put all my input fields inside this over here. I'm putting in and save it, and now I will come here and say to this form element action. Okay, what is action? What should happen when you click on an action, when you do an action inside the elements? So I'll say it should take me to http www.onlinefurytraining.com.
Hello. Uh, Hello, Anubhav. Sorry to
Yes,
interrupt.
yes, Anirban.
The screen has, yeah, the screen has hung up for me.
Okay, screen has frozen. Now hopefully it must be coming to you. Is it coming now?
Yes, now.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
so
Yes.
coming
sorry.
through.
So what did I do? Let me just recall this code. I think it when I was switching the windows, probably it would have happened. So what I am doing is I'm just adding a form element. Okay, I just add a form element, and now inside this form element, I'm just gonna cut and paste all my UI elements related to input field inside this. Okay, that's what I'm doing. Now, what next I do is I put here an input tag, a special type of input tab called submit. Okay, this is a special type of input tag. As a result of this, you may assume that this will print the input field, but not. Watch carefully. This will bring a button on the UI. You can see when I refresh on the right side, oops, it's getting input field only. Why? Ideally it should give me a button. There is something wrong. Ideally when you put this input field of type submit, this brings always a button for you, but here it's not bringing it.
The spelling is incorrect. It's
Right.
SUMBIT.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I can also do typos. Yes. And you see now it creates a button on the UI. Now this button, when you click, automatically it has a capability to call a website address and send your data, what you've written here, to that website. It can post the data to that website. It can send the data for validation to that website. And that website, when it receives a request, it can extract out these values, username, password. It can run a program where it can validate if the username password is correct, and it sends you a response again as a new HTML page, which means you will see your Google profile or Gmail profile or Facebook whatever. So basically that's a request response. So you have a username password field, you enter that, click on submit, it sends a request to the server with these two username and password in the parameter. Now prerequisite to send these values in a parameter is you have to provide a name property to your UI element. So you have to give a name property here, and you say user, and then for this also you have to give name is equals to password. Okay, something you can give, you can say spidey also, spidey code, whatever you like, you name, you can give that name. Now what will happen as a result, I will also give name to this guy, say NBR. So what will happen as a result, wherever I have given name, this will be appended automatically to my request, which is going to server. Now which server I want to request, that server address I have to give here in the action. So in the action I have to give the server address. So I give my server address, let's say www.onlinetheorytrainings.com. Watch carefully. System, the moment you click on this, creates a request, HTTP request, sends it to this particular server, and it will append the username, password, and this number automatically to the request. Watch carefully. Refresh the page. Let me enter my username. Let me enter my password. I am entering demo1234, and I'm entering some number here. Let's say 15. Click on submit. Watch carefully what will happen. It sends a request to the server. Server takes these parameters. Server sends a response back. So currently I don't have any mechanism in my server for my website which reads these parameter values. I don't have that mechanism, but just to demonstrate I'm showing you. Click on submit. Watch carefully what happens. Watch this URL. Copy this URL, bring it into a notepad and see what happened. When you made a call, it automatically added a user, whatever I typed in input field, spidey code, which is my password, you see demo1234, and NBR15, all that get added as a URL parameters automatically to my request. This is my HTTP request making to this server of Online Fiori trainings, and now here you see it's actually added all the values which I entered in input field. You see, it's also giving this pop-up as if it understand that there's some password. Okay, never, I say never, but you see that's the request it has made to the server. If I would have had some code on my server side which is written in a server program, if you remember the architecture, there's a server side program. If I would have had a code in my server to read these parameter values and validate you, I could have logged in you already with those username password, right? So that's a request which is gone. By default, every request is a get request using form element. So using form element, when you're sending a request, it's a get request by default. Now if I want, but the disadvantage of get request, you can see all the username password exposed in the URL parameter. That's a security violation. You see your password is visible in the URL parameter. That should not happen, right? So that's the reason we switch to more secure way, which is post request. So post request is absolutely for the purpose of posting the data through the server in a secure way. In that case, it will still send the data to server, but it won't display that data into the URL parameters. Okay, so now I will come here and say method. The default method is get, and I'll change it to post. Okay, that's a property. Post I'm making, refresh, and now you will see I enter some username, some password, and I enter some value, and I also show you submit. You will see it just makes a call to onlinefurytrainings.com, but it doesn't send any username password. Okay, that's called post request. Now there is no handling of such a post request on my server. That's why it's giving me an error. Okay, it's saying giving me some forbidden error because there is no handling of this type of request. So server is not able to understand this post request now, hence it's giving me an error. So this is how we post the data. In long run, I will show you OData services which you will be using to post the data to your ERP server. Let's say you want to create a material. You will create a Fiori application where we will create material. We will enter material data. We click on post. We click on save. This will create a post request using OData service and creates a material for you in Mara table. That's the kind of example we want to achieve later point of time. So right now for you, just to understand the architecture and understand what is a request response, what all the different types of requests we have, and how to make a request using form element. Now I'll show you the beauty. So I was telling you that it does a validation also for us automatically if we have not followed the rules and if you're trying to navigate. So earlier I have given the range for number as 15 to 20. Let me enter here 200, something outside the range, and click on submit. Voila, there you see it automatically validates and stop my navigation. That's the beauty of HTML5. Automatic validation was implemented in HTML5. Yeah, it stops your navigation automatically to any request. It stops the request when the validation fails. That's for this you don't have to code additionally like you have to do it in WebDyn Pro, separately a coding for such validation. You don't have to do it with HTML5. That's the beauty of HTML5. Automatic validation was implemented in HTML5. That's the advantage of HTML5 over older versions of HTML5. Another difference for you is here. Okay, so automatic field validations was implemented in HTML5. Okay, that's what has been done. Very nice, superb. Automatic field validation was implemented in HTML5. Okay, great. Now what next? Let me show you some more interesting input tags. So I will put here input. I'll put type equals to color. Okay, let me put that. I will again put input. I'll put type equals to date. I'll put input and I will put type equals to email. Watch carefully now. Save this, refresh, and you see the color. So you can choose a color. Yeah, that's the beauty. You can choose a color. That's the beauty of color element. You see date. It gives you calendar control. This is also with HTML5 they've done it. Earlier we have to implement everything code for calendars, but now automatic calendar comes, which makes it easy for you to choose the dates based on a calendar control. And then you see email box. Now let me type a wrong email, because we all know format of an email is at the rate of some website.com. Now if I submit, it gives me again a validation error. You see it says at the rate of is missing, boss. There's something wrong in this email. So these kind of validations are implemented in HTML5 auto validation. Congratulations, thank you for HTML5 making our life easier as a web developer. Hope you enjoyed it. What are all the different powers of HTML5? Yeah, and you know now the differences between older versions of HTML5 and HTML5. Now another interesting thing, earlier when we want to play audio and video, okay, in old days, it websites used to tell you that install this plugin, that plugin, then only you can play this music, then only you can watch this video. With HTML5, W3C has provided direct audio and video support. Direct audio and video support without extra plugin required. That's the beauty. HTML5 direct support of audio and video was provided. Audio and video tags were provided by HTML W3C in HTML5 without having extra plugins. You see, browsers are getting more and more powerful these days, and thanks to all W3C in HTML5. Let me show you example on the system. That's a very nice example indeed. You will love this example. So I'll go back and now I will create here an audio tag. Okay, I just save this, refresh. You will see nothing because I have not given the src source of this audio yet. So I will give a source of the audio, which we'll give later. And there's also something called controls. You have to add controls here to display the controls to the user. So refresh, and now you see play and pause button have come with audio. It's not showing any playable music. Reason is because source is missing. It doesn't know where to get this music file, right? So I have a music file with me, which I have got it from internet. So let me go to the music file. So I'll go to this website where I already have one of a music file. So that's what I'm gonna use. So maybe let me just give me 1 second, guys. I'll switch to my speakers so you will also be able to listen to it. Let me just go back. Okay, great. So there is a music which is there on internet, and I have a over here a music file. I right click here on this. Okay, I right click here on this and say copy audio address. Okay, copy audio address. So I can go to internet and copy any of the music file. A copy audio address, put it here in src, save it. We are done. We are done. Refresh the page and you see guys, your play button is now active. Okay, it was active, suddenly it disappeared. Why? I don't know. Let me try in another browser. There may be some problem here. So let me just go back. So it was activated and deactivated. I don't know, some problem with Chrome. I come back here. Oops, I'm not able to run that. No problem. I'm going to run this file as a pure HTML because I know the path of this file in my computer. So I can right click on the file because every browser understands HTML directly. I don't need to rely on WebID to do that, right? So I can go to the folder where I have this particular project on my computer. So let me just go to run, and I just go to my WebIDE folder, and I will go to server workspace, AN Anubhav, and you will see here my file, Orient content, web app, and this is my HTML file here. I can directly give this to a browser, okay, because browser understand HTML directly. Double click on this, it will launch it in the Firefox. You will see same HTML page and the play button is now active. There is some problem in my Chrome browser guys, that's why the play is not active, but you see here the play button is active. And let me play this music if it is running. I'm not sure, maybe my path itself is obsolete now, so that may be a reason why it may not work. So there's some problem. I think our path itself is obsolete, so this is not playing. So here also you see it's not playing. This particular music file is no more playable, so maybe I have to search now on internet some different file which I can play. So maybe I go here to another URL. So that file path which we copied is not correct guys, so it was not correct. That's why, that was the reason it was not playing. So now let me see if this one works. I can right click, copy the audio address and paste that audio address over here. So you need to find the right path. I've got it now. I think it's working. So let's refresh. And yes, you can see now the play button is active and it's also buffering the music. Let me play the song and let's see what happens. So I started the play. Sure. No sound is coming. Yes, it's coming now. Let me move it. Hope you can see the music, hear music. So that's a direct support from HTML5 to audio and video tags. So that's a very nice song from movie Airlift by KK. So you can see it's directly playing the music on our HTML5. Direct support has been provided from HTML5, right? So direct support, and you can see also the download button is available over here. So any music which you like, it's there on internet. Copy the path of that music. If it is workable directory, bring it on to audio tag, put it over here, and you can play the music. You can construct your own HTML page with all your favorite music all across the globe, put it on a single HTML file and share it with your friends. Yeah, that's a direct support of audio and video tag with HTML5. Let's move to the next tag, video tag. I'm just going to get source for that as well. So I have to go to internet and get one source. Now one question which may come in your mind, Anubhav, can we get a YouTube video over here using video tag? Answer is no. YouTube video, the URL of the YouTube video is not the actual video URL. You need an actual video path. YouTube video is actually, when you open YouTube video, it's playing inside a Flash player which is hosted by YouTube, and the actual video file is placed behind the scenes. So you need actual video path. So I'm going to get a video file from W3C itself. So big buck bunny video, yeah, and I just go there and we search for W3C and just W3C, and just search for that, and yes, here we go. And I'm just going to look at that video, and you see there's a video here. Right click this, copy video address, that's it, close it, come back, put it in SRC, paste it, save it, refresh. You will see a video tag brings in a video right into your HTML5 automatically. So you see big buck bunny video, yeah. So there you see direct support for video tags with HTML5 is also possible now. Earlier we used to use extra plugins in the browser if you want to put an audio and video in our web page. So W3C listened to all the requirements, and they found that it's easy if we support audio and video without extra plugins in the browsers, and that's what they made it possible with audio and video tags. Yeah, any questions before we close today's class? All over to you guys. So there is a lot more we'll see in the next class: block level elements, table elements, iframe element, lot of interesting new elements in HTML. I'm going to teach you complete HTML. After that you would never need to learn any HTML from anywhere. Just 2 sessions. Okay, any questions before we close? Anyone, please unmute your line and ask the questions if you have.
Yeah, Anubhav, Meenakshi here.
Yep.
Actually, yesterday I tried to open like your like a recording video, but it was not opening. So could you just show me how can I just open that video, and even like a class wise, whatever program you are doing now, I was searching there, but I was not like means like I was not able to open your like classes and like a recording. Could you please just open and show me?
Which one? Which one?
Recording classes, the second class. Yesterday I was
okay. Let me just go to the blog. So you're saying in the blog you're not able to play the videos?
Yeah. It was like continuously it was waiting, but not opening that one.
Okay, let me just play one of them. So this is yesterday's class video. Let me play this. So let's see. You see already the timer have come up.
Yeah, that thing actually was happening. Okay, but it was not opening like that.
Okay, sometimes what happens, it is because of browser cache. So if there is a plugin which is hampering things, so go to your history and clear all the history. Okay, so refresh your browser cache, 100% it will work. It's my experience. A lot of people complain many times about it. It's because of browser cache. Refresh your browser cache and try it again. Please use Chrome browsers, guys. Don't use Internet Explorer.
Anubhav, can you try opening the first demo session? That's not opening for me.
This one?
Or not this one?
Okay, let me try.
This one.
It will open, guys. Just refresh your browser cache. I've seen this very often, this issue in many of computers. Many of my students complain about it. You see? Welcome to the first session on SAP UI5 and theory. So it's working. Data services. So just try that out.
And what about the programs?
Programs, you can go to session and presentation study material, and you see here I'm going to upload now this one. So let me just quickly do this export and upload it. So the one which we have it today. So I showed you how to upload it in your web IDE today. So I will export it from here. Just exported it out. Just go to, maybe just got to delete this. So it should go as a web app only, and export. And then just let me import that, and you will find that in the below in the projects folder, guys. So what I do is usually I add like this. Just go to download web app, and now it's uploading. So you all can download it, and what I do is I move always this thing into the folder, so I can organize PPT and other presentation study material which I'll be sharing, and all the project related stuff in a different folder. So I'll just now move this to projects, and you see it here. So the yesterday's files are also there, HTML files, and this is our project. See, a minute ago it was uploaded by Anubhav. So you can also, I'll upload the PPT. So I have the PPT with me. So UI5 training. Let me just say date modified. Yes, there it is. I'm uploading the PPT also. So video recording will be available about an hour later. Hmm? So just go to the session recordings tab, hold on for a minute, let it load the preview of these videos, and then you play and state as it is. And before this you do, you just go ahead and refresh your browser cache. It will run 100%. You know, majority, even 60% of my student who join my training, they join with video course. So there are of course complaints about it, but yes, it works. Okay. Anything else? Anyone?
Yeah, hi, Anubhav, Kapil this side.
Yeah, Kapil.
Yeah, can you just go to this the web page? If you see there is means an alignment is not proper, so we'll be covering that in next session, or means how can we
Absolutely.
do that?
Alignment. You see, there are many problems with this. Not just alignment, coloring is not there, formatting not there, right? There is no look and feel of this. This looks very raw kind of application. That's all CSS,
Yes.
cascading style sheet. CSS chapter is on the way. Next week we're gonna cover about.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Anubhav, I have a question.
Yep.
For input tags, I don't see any IDs.
Perfect
When you are
question.
passing,
We will discuss what is an ID element. Okay, what is an ID element? We'll discuss that. Now, your question is very valid. So we can put an ID for every element which is unique, but while passing to the server request, you need name. It doesn't consider ID at all. So in order to send this in a request to an HTTP request, you always use name. You never use ID. ID is a technical information for every element which makes it unique on the UI. So we'll discuss about ID in detail in next unit.
okay.
There's a lot about HTML pending, like table element, iframe element, very important block level element, ID element, all that is pending. We will discuss that in our next class. Okay. Yeah.
Anubhav, question here from me, Farhan. Where are all these elements available? Do you have any website where you can find out all these elements so that
Right,
you know
W3C
what all
schools.
elements
You
you can
can
do?
go to W3C schools. As I
Okay.
showed yesterday, I think yesterday also we discussed W3C schools, and you see here learn HTML. And now you see one by one, if you slowly go, you will find all these elements. What am I teaching? So today we saw links, right? So you see links here, anchor tag. You see href property, images. You see images. So you can try this up. You can click on try yourself, and you see hand to hand. You can on left you can code something and say href. Okay, and then you can just put this like this, save it. Sorry, you can say run, and you would see, oops, click here, run, and you see a link have come. Click here, it takes you to some page. Of course, I didn't put HTTP, so it doesn't know that it has to take you to internet. So that's what. And I click, you would see it will load my website over here. So it will take you to that particular page on click of this. So it's not taking, there's some problem. I think it's not allowed. Cross origin call not allowed. That's why it's not taking. But yeah, you can practice that here also, side by side, hand to hand. All the tags are available here about entire HTML. You see audio tag we saw, it's also here, audio tag, what it does, what are the browsers supported, what versions are supported. You see they have put some video here, MP3 video. You can play that up. So come here, play this. Wow, funny. Okay, nice. So you can put that over here. Yeah. So all the references are already there. This is the master plan for HTML. Nothing is there outside in HTML outside this. Nothing. You see this picture on the right? That's also created using HTML. Everything is HTML. What you see on the UI is in HTML because browser only understand HTML, guys. Browser doesn't understand anything else. Okay. So with that, it's a wrap on today's class. See you on Monday morning India time. Have a nice day and goodbye.